Knicks family, what's poppin' is your boy. Breaking news from the New York Knicks. What's new, ladies and gentlemen? They've hired former Cleveland Cavalier head coach David Blatt. But in what capacity? Let's talk about it. That's the gig. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the Knicks have hired David Blatt. And it is definitely surprising news, but news that could inevitably have some significance. I don't know what significance it has. Let's check out the Knicks PR statement. Then we'll talk about the significance, and we'll talk about David Blatt. Here you go. This is from the Knicks PR. Earlier today, within an hour, about an hour ago, the New York Knicks announced the hiring of David Blatt as a basketball operations consultant. On behalf of David Blatt, I look forward to the next step in my career as I officially retire from coaching and pursue other opportunities in basketball. I've long been intrigued by working in a front office and thank Steve and Scott for the opportunity to be a resource to the basketball operations staff. On behalf of Steve Mills and Scott Perry, David Blatt is a great basketball mind, and we look forward to adding him to the organization. He will be a great asset to our front office, G League team, and international scouting. There's a lot to unravel here, I think. A lot to unravel. But first, I'm going to say this. David Blatt, for all intents and purposes, is definitely a basketball mind. Right? I think many of us know him from his time in Cleveland and everything that happened with the Cleveland Cavaliers. But David Blatt's been around basketball for a very long time. For a very long time. All right. He played college basketball at Princeton with guess who? Steve Mills. We'll talk about that later. All right. He played basketball with Steve Mills from 1977 to 1981. All right. Coaching. He's coached in the European leagues as a head coach since 2001. So from 2001 to 2014, he coached in the Euro leagues. He coached in Europe. And in each one of those years, he made it to the playoffs in Europe. In 2013, 2014, he won the Euro League championship. In 2014, 2015, he came and he coached the Cleveland Cavaliers. He led the Cleveland Cavaliers to the NBA Finals in 2015. He was the head coach of the Cleveland Cavaliers in 2015 and 2016. He led them to a 30-11 record, and then he was fired for whatever reasons. Not even going to go deep into those reasons. 2016, 2017, he went back and he coached in Europe from 2016 to 2017, then 2018 to 2019, and now he has retired from coaching and he is pursuing a front office career. And it begins with the New York Knicks, ladies and gentlemen. So here we go. We talked last night on the stream last night about Allen Houston possibly being promoted in the event that Steve Mills and Scott Perry, those guys are let go. And one of the things that I brought up is that it would be more of the same if you promote Allen Houston. More of the same in dealing in your own ecosystem. This feels the same to me. I don't know David Blatt. I don't know he and Steve Mills' personal relationship. Obviously, they have a relationship. It's been well documented that they know each other. But it still feels like they're dealing in the same ecosystem. Steve Mills hiring someone as a consultant that he trusts is going to have his back. That's what it feels like to me. I'm not looking any deeper or further into this. You know, some people are saying, well, you know, he could possibly be a replacement for Mike Miller, or maybe he's a replacement for Steve Mills. I disagree. I look at this as another hiring within the ecosystem, this time the ecosystem of Steve Mills. And I'm not looking at, I don't know if it's going to be a good thing or bad thing. David Blatt definitely has a good basketball mind. I'm not sure why he would choose the Knicks as the place to begin his front office career. The Knicks haven't exactly had the most efficient or stable front office over the years. I'm assuming that it's because he and Steve Mills are buddies. So what does this mean? I'm going to tell you what I see, and I could be entirely wrong, but what I see, because this hiring, I'm pretty sure was approved by James Dolan. What it tells me is that Scott Perry and Steve Mills may feel like, with the recent success of the Knicks going 3-3 since Mike Miller has been hired, maybe they feel a little bit safer. Because they didn't exactly hire, I mean, I guess you can say David Blatt is new eyes. Right? New eyes on the front office, new eyes on the basketball team, new eyes on everything that's happening. But he's within that ecosystem. It's not saying that he won't tell Steve Mills the truth and say, hey, something stinks here. Not saying that. But I think when you bring somebody in, it's got to be someone who has no attachment to anybody. Now, he's a consultant. So I'm not going to go too deep here because he's a consultant. You know, and a consultant is a consultant. We'll see where this goes. We'll see where it goes. We'll see what happens. It does tell me that Steve Mills and Scott Perry might be making moves during the trade season. Because, you know, my question was whether or not James Dolan is going to allow Steve Mills and Scott Perry to make some moves. Because, you know, they could be fired at the end of the season. Well, with bringing in David Blatt as a consultant, it could tell me that, yeah, they might be making some moves. And James Dolan was like, I want you guys to bring in a consultant, someone that can, you know, help you make a few decisions. Or they just said, hey, we'll bring in David Blatt, we'll help him out, and he has a good basketball mind. I don't know. I'm just thinking right now, just kind of off the cuff on what it means to the New York Knicks. And it may not mean nothing at all. You know, it could be simply they hired him as a consultant because he has a good basketball mind, and that's it. And he's hoping that they're going to help them for the time that he's here. It could simply be that. I don't know. But I think that it means that these guys are going to make some basketball decisions going forward. Because if they weren't going to make basketball decisions going forward, why hire a consultant? If you're not going to make basketball decisions, why hire a consultant? If you're not going to be around to scout overseas, if you're not going to be around to make a draft pick, why hire a consultant? You know what I'm saying? Why hire a consultant? You know, that's the only conclusion that I can come to. And if you hired a consultant, let's say James Dolan hired the consultant, why would he hire Steve Mills' buddy? If he was thinking about letting Steve Mills go or letting Scott Perry go, right? Why hire a consultant who is a buddy of Steve Mills? So if this was James Dolan's hire, I'm not sure that he would hire David Blatt, who was a buddy of Steve Mills. If James Dolan was like, I'm going to hire a consultant to help make decisions, that way when I let you guys go, I know this consultant helped to make sure those decisions were sound decisions for the next executive coming in. If he were to do that, I don't think he would hire David Blatt simply because he's Steve Mills' buddy. And I'm not saying anything wrong about David Blatt. You see what I'm saying? What I'm saying is I think this is Steve Mills' hire, not James Dolan's hire. And if James Dolan signed off on it, it tells me that they're going to make some decisions going forward. You know, that's what I'm taking from it. That's what I think is going to happen. I don't know what it means in the long term as far as, you know, those guys, being here at the end of the summer. But, you know, that's where I see it, man. That's where I see it. I will say, though, David Blatt, barring Steve Mills, is a smart guy, intelligent guy, has a lot of basketball knowledge, right? For all intents and purposes, I'll say he's not a bad person to hire. If you're looking for someone to consult with basketball, he has a lot of experience. He's won a championship overseas. He coached the Cleveland Cavaliers to the NBA Finals, right? So he has a lot of basketball experience, a good basketball mind. You know, a good basketball mind. So I'm not saying he's a bad hire. He's not a bad hire at all. I think he's a good guy to have in your organization. But with his relationship with Steve Mills, I think it signifies more. You know what I'm saying? That's where I'm at with it. I think it signifies a little bit more. So I want to know what you guys think, man. I want to know what you guys think. And then, after this, we'll talk about Reggie Bullock. But again, the Knicks hired former Cleveland Cavaliers head coach David Blatt as a basketball operations consultant. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, they've hired David Blatt. Okay. And I read it one more time. The New York Knicks announced today the hiring of David Blatt as a basketball operations consultant. And on the behalf of David Blatt, his statement, I look forward to the next step in my career as I officially retire from coaching and pursue other opportunities in basketball. I've long been intrigued by working in a front office and thank Steve and Scott for the opportunity to be a resource to the basketball operations staff. On behalf of Steve Mills and Scott Perry, David Blatt is a great basketball mind, and we look forward to adding him to the organization. He would be a great asset to our front office, G League team, and international scouting. So let me hear from you guys, man. I want to know what you guys think about this. All right. Mark, you in the chat. What's popping with you, bro?
So he's out here. Listen, I don't have no problem with David Blatt. But he's out here hiring buddies to make sure he can keep his job because he know he's on a iron pot sizzle waiting to get fired next year. They went to school together. They went to Princeton together, man. This is what I'm talking about. That's what I was saying yesterday. He's trying everything and anything to do to keep his job as president of the Knicks. So he's trying to bring in guys who has good basketball intellect to show Dolan, oh, look, Dolan, look who I signed and look what he did for this other team. Or look what he can do for us, for scouting for us, for players overseas. Because the Knicks had bad scouting international players. They're not good at that. So he's good on that aspect. He's retired from coaching. He's only scouting. But this is his way of creating this cult so he could monitor whatever goes around. So if surprisingly the Knicks do good, he gets all the shine. And all the other stuff will be just washed down the drain. Nuh-uh, Steve Mills. And Sim, and Sim, and Sim, and Sim. He gets to sign off and sign on who he wants. That's Steve Mills' job. So if he wants to bring in whoever he wants to bring in, that's what he can
Yeah.
do. That's what the president can do.
Of course. But let me ask you this. If it was your job on the line, wouldn't you be hiring whoever you can to try to save your job?
Yeah, for him and where he's at, if I was in his boots, yes. But a guy that's been watching this man masquerading in this organization and done what he done to this team, Sim, it's about outside the organization, what players think of him, what other organizations that it's not just it's not just it's not just the fans wanting to get fired. It's for us getting free agents in the future, players feeling comfortable that he can run an organization and build a team with a star around him. A lot of that stuff plays because at the end of the day, what I could say, Dolan allowed whoever to come in and do their efforting.
Well, here's the thing. Right? If Steve Mills does not get fired, you can't blame that on Steve Mills. If he does not get fired, you got to blame that on Dolan. Right?
And that
it is up to Dolan. Dolan is the only person that can fire Steve Mills. So when you look at it right now, you can't blame Steve Mills for hiring David Blatt. He's doing what he thinks is right. Now, is it more of the same in dealing in your own ecosystem? Yes, it is, because I think you need to have fresh eyes on the New York Knicks. When I say fresh eyes, I don't mean somebody who is your friend, but somebody who is does not have a network with the front office. And when I say network, I mean doesn't have any kind of relationships with people already in the front office. I think you need to have someone who's totally fresh. So in that sense, it doesn't make me totally happy because, David Blatt, Steve Mills, they're buddies. It doesn't mean that David Blatt won't tell him, yo, this is not right. This is wrong. This is messed up. But it's still, the relationship thing, is not good. You're going deeper and deeper and deeper down a rabbit hole. But I do have to say David Blatt is a very intelligent basketball guy, okay? And he's a very intelligent basketball guy. So it doesn't mean that he's going to come in and make bad decisions with the Knicks. You know what I'm saying? Because he is very intelligent and knows a lot about the game, right? Yes, he's a basketball intellectual.
When you're bringing on an interim coach, this is the problem. It's like you're bringing guys in, and it's like now if he interferes with the coach, now it's a whole nother story. I just want them allow Mike Miller to do what he's been doing. I don't want anybody to interfere with what he's doing. Let him get his fair shot of what he's doing right now. And I'm just afraid that this dude, Steve Mills, will keep his job. And if he keeps his job, Sim, I'm telling you right now, it's going to be bad for us. I don't care what anybody say. Because of what has came out, him lying on a player, that stuff goes around the league and amongst players, man. And players today ain't sticking with that. They don't go to organization, and the next thing you do, you have a president lying on you and trading you like you some piece of junk. You don't think players talk, man?
Listen. I get it. And I'm not going as far as right now to say that this means that Steve Mills is definitely sticking around. What I will say is that I believe it means that they're going to make some decisions going forward in the next couple of months. For people, I do want to say this. For people saying that David Blatt could potentially be our next head coach, that's not happening, ladies and gentlemen. He's not going to be our next coach. He is retiring from coaching. David Blatt has been diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. All right. And that is the reason that he is retiring from coaching basketball. All right. So he's not going to be the head coach of the New York Knicks. At this moment, he's looking to use his mind to stay in basketball. All right. I'm going to put an article in the YouTube chat that you can read from the grapevine. I'm not going to read the entire article about him opening up and talking about multiple sclerosis. All right. So listen, David Blatt is not here to coach the New York Knicks. He's not going to coach the New York Knicks. All right. He's recently been diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. All right. And this is the reason that he is retiring from coaching basketball. The reason he's retiring from coaching basketball. All right. So I wish him all the best in his health, obviously. And I think everybody that's here, all Knicks fans, wish him the best in his health. MS is not, something to play around with. So that is the reason that he has retired from coaching. So no, he will not be coaching basketball for the New York Knicks. So don't look forward to him coaching basketball. And I guess you'll see where this goes in the future. Again, though, I'm not ready to say that this means that Steve Mills is going to be the president for however long. I think it means that they are going to be making decisions for the upcoming future for the New York Knicks. The immediate future. I'll say that. The immediate future. That's what I think. All right. Isaiah right now is playing hooky from work or took a quick lunch break. So let's hear what Isaiah has to say.
Hey, what's going on, Sam?
Well, I'm good, man. Where you been, man? I ain't seen you in a minute. Thought maybe you got locked up or something.
I was what happened?
I thought maybe you got locked up or something.
Nah. I've just been things going good for me. So I just haven't been on the chat lately. I've just been just hanging with the lady and just
okay,
working that thing out. You know.
That's what's up. That's a good deal. You see how he took a shot at the NBA? Hold on. You see how he took a shot at the NBK family? He took a shot at us, y'all. I said, where you been? He said, hey, Mark, what you doing, man? Come on, man. Chill out. Chill out with all that. I asked him, where you been? He said, things have been going good for me, so I haven't been in the chat. What's that mean? Things have been going good for me, so I haven't been in the chat.
Sim, hold on.
What's that mean?
To defend myself, you know what's been going on. So that's why I say things have been going good. Y'all my family.
But go ahead, man. What do you think about this?
I love first of all, I love the MBK family. We are all family. Shout out to my man Chester. Shout out to my man Guillermo. Yeah, I've been attacking my man Guillermo. I don't be like I've been hearing things from the grapevines. People have been attacking my man Guillermo, and I'm here to defend my mans. That's my mans. People have been disrespecting Guillermo. Don't disrespect Guillermo, man. I'm gonna fight somebody.
So yo, go ahead. Tell me. Speak to me, man. Speak to me. This Steve Mills. David Blatt.
You know what, man? You know what I see here, Sam? That you said that he been. I didn't know he was diagnosed. Do you know what I see here? I didn't know that he was diagnosed. I'm praying for him and his family. I see a friend taking care of a friend. That's kind of what I see here. Not to be. I see a friend taking care of his friend, one of his best friends. So I can't blame him for getting him a job. Again, does that mean he's going to be the coach? No. Does that mean Steve Mills is going to keep his job? No. I told you before, Sam. Steve Mills is not going to get fired. What's most likely happened, what happened before, that he's going to get moved from the basketball side to the business side. That's most likely what's going to happen to Steve Mills. Steve Mills is not going to get fired. He's just not. It's not going to happen, Sam. It's not going to happen. Everybody wants him gone. That's one of James Dolan's guys. He's not going to fire him. He's going to move him like he always does. That's not new. Listen, I think what James Dolan wants to do, what I think he might do is he might wait for him beside Ujiri because I think I don't know if you probably did. You read the reports that the Raptors want 2 first-round picks for him, which is ridiculous. You don't do that. You just wait for his contract to end and you get him. I think he's just going to do the waiting game. If Steve Mills doesn't get fired now, he's probably going to wait until Masai Ujiri's contract is up, and then most likely try to throw a bag at Masai Ujiri. Yeah, I think that's what's going to happen. And the only thing I'm really worried about, which I'm not truly worried about, is just let Mike Miller continue doing what he's doing. He's doing a good job right now. Just make sure he's continue doing what he's doing. He's having his team play really bad. The Knicks this last 6 games has never played harder throughout the whole season. So continue doing what you're doing with Mike Miller. Leave him alone. Let him do what he has to do. Again, Steve Mills is not going to get fired. He's going to get either moved up to the business side, but
well,
really
but if he's moved to the business side or something like that, well, people just want him away from the Knicks. Let me say one more thing about David Blatt before you go on. This is from Ian Begley. He said David Blatt's consulting role will include helping on the operations side, scouting, G League, etc. It is not expected to include any assistance with coaching. All right. Blatt, who has retired from coaching, was at the New York Knicks facility today with Steve Mills, Scott Perry, and Allen Houston. Let's also add that David Blatt has a strong relationship with Craig Robinson, who is also he's the Knicks VP of Player Development. Blatt, Robinson, and Steve Mills all played together at Princeton. So, you dig further and deeper down the foxhole, ladies and gentlemen. But anyone who asks the questions on whether or not, David Blatt is going to, make suggestions to Coach Mike Miller and those type of things, it doesn't sound like that's going to happen. Sounds like that he's got some specific roles that it doesn't have to do with anything that has to do with coaching. So go ahead real quick, and then I want to talk about Reggie Bullock.
Well, Sim, let me say this though. I think this might be good because you're talking about one of the greatest European coaches of all time. Him scouting European players, to me that's a benefit for us. So people are just looking at it as a negative of the people are attaching this just to Steve Mills going to stay. But hey, I like David Blatt. I liked him as a coach. I didn't think he was a bad coach personally when he was with the Cavs. I liked what he did with the Cavs. But again, people just are using this as a negative. Well, I think this could be a positive for us because if he's going to get the heads up because of just how much respect he gets in Europe about as a coach. So I think this is actually good for the Knicks when it comes to looking at European prospects. So I'm not taking this as a negative, honestly. I'm really not.
I don't think people are taking David Blatt and what he's done basketball-wise as a negative. I think it's more that he's buddies with Steve Mills. It's more the same, right? It's more the same. I'm going to hire my buddy. I'm going to hire someone who's within my ecosystem, within my network. I'm not going to hire, truly someone who is outside of what's happening, because if they're buddies, you better believe that he's probably been adding tidbits here and there, along the way, when they can. Now, obviously, he's had his own jobs in Europe, coaching and all that kind of stuff. But I'm pretty sure they've had conversations, so I think that the issue is not with David Blatt. I think the issue is more with the fact that he's Steve Mills' buddy, and it's more of the same with the Knicks and bringing in guys that are, already buddies and sticking with the same ecosystem of guys. That's what I think it has to do with.
But Sim, you know what, Sim? Though, you know what? Before you go to Reggie Bullock, this is a lot of this is throughout the whole league.
Well, you're right.
Everybody in the league does it. It's just not the Knicks. You're talking about the Knicks hired. This is just for example. The Lakers hired Kobe Bryant's agent to be a GM or whatever he is. So people like trying to put the emphasis. Well, everybody in the league does this. There's always relationships in the league.
I get that. But if everybody jumped off the bridge, you're gonna jump off the bridge. I hope not. You know what I'm saying? And with the Knicks, though, The Lakers have won championships this millennium, right? The Knicks haven't. You need to do something different. You can't always do what everyone else is doing when it's not working for you. You know what I'm saying? And so it's just my opinion that the Knicks need somebody who's outside of the entire thing to come in and take a look. Now, I'm not saying anything's wrong with him. I believe he can add some really good information and input to the Knicks, and if he's going to be in charge of scouting and international scouting, that's a huge positive. Because obviously, he's really, really in tune to everything that's going on internationally. So that's a big positive for the Knicks. So let's, we'll see how it goes. Nothing against David Blatt at all. I think he's a good hire for any basketball team. I think he's a good hire. I think it really just has to do with the relationships with Steve Mills and people being afraid that it means Steve Mills is going to keep his job. So let's talk about Reggie Bullock, though. Let's get into Reggie Bullock a little bit. Today, Reggie Bullock has his first practice as a New York Knick. He was cleared to practice yesterday, so his first practice will be today. Now, and I'm pretty sure they've already practiced. I haven't heard too much, coming out of practice. But this adds some stuff to the Knicks. One, it's going to add for Coach Mike Miller, another guy that he's got to try to fit into the rotation. Now, listen, Reggie Bullock's not going to be ready to play for a while still, right? You're talking about, probably another, month or a couple of weeks at least before he's actually ready to play. But what will he add if healthy? And I want to make that a caveat. If healthy, he's going to add more 3-point shooting. He should add some hard-nosed defense from that wing spot, which could really, really help this team out, especially with the way that we're going with, right now. Mike Miller has the team playing some good defense. He should fit right into that defensive mentality that we're trying to make our identity. And then you talk about spreading the floor. He's been last season, I think he shot 38% from three. He's another guy, if he can come in and be healthy, that can really help to spread that floor. Now, who does he knock out of the rotation? Who knows? Who knows what that would look like? You still got a while until that happens, though. We still have a while until that happens. Remember, the Knicks had signed Reggie Bullock to a larger deal in the offseason upon, having exams and all of that stuff. They found out that he had issues with his back. And so they renegotiated the deal, took the deal down to about $4 million a year, something like that. And then that's when they were able to sign Marcus Morris. All right, so now Reggie Bullock is finally back. All right, he had cervical surgery during the offseason. He's finally back. He's been cleared for full participation in practice, and he began today. I'm pretty sure at some point we'll hear from Coach Mike Miller, and they'll be asked about Reggie Bullock. I'm pretty sure people are probably asking and want to see and want to talk about, how he's going to fit him into the rotation going forward. He's probably not even thinking about that right now. He's going to deal with who he has in front of him. But that time may come and will come sooner than later. I want to know what you guys think about that. Isaiah, if you're still there, not sure if Isaiah's there, we'll go with Mark. Mark, tell me what you think about the return of Reggie Bullock, man. And listen, man, you can't be. But first of all, let me just say this to you, man. You can't be putting up the finger when you're on live, man. Like, what you thinking, man? Especially if you looking to do this yourself at some point, man. I mean, come on, man. Well, go ahead.
All right, see, my thing is now you got young players. People complain about young players not getting minutes. Honestly, I don't really care what Reggie Bullock could do for us or what he can do. I just want these young players to develop from this standpoint. So him being on the floor is going to take minutes away from Dotson, going to take minutes away from Knox, it's going to take minutes away from Frank, and it's going to take minutes away from y'all guy Dennis Smith Jr. I don't really care for him. It's just, listen.
You said you don't care for him at all.
But I want the young guys to get those minutes, period. That's just me. So him coming back, I even forgot he was on this team, so it really doesn't matter for me. That's my opinion on it. I'd rather the young guys with those minutes than him, because he's only here for 1 year. So,
well,
again, he don't hold
no significant. You don't know if he's only here for 1 year. I mean, maybe he's only here for 1 year. You don't know. I mean, he's on a relatively small contract right now. A relatively small contract. If they look and they see and they say, okay, I like what you do, we'll sign you again to another small contract. He could be here longer. You don't know that if he's only here for 1 year right now. You know what I'm saying?
Well, what kind of injury does he have?
He had cervical surgery. So, it's a back injury.
Oh, so yeah, he's going to be for 1 year.
It's a back injury.
Anybody going to look at him again? Got a back injury, man. Why are we going to look at for him to come back next year with a back injury? I don't like players with back injuries, man. It's not good in the game of basketball.
Listen, there's a lot of players in the league that have back injuries and have whatever. It doesn't mean. I mean, and maybe he's the type of player. Maybe he's the type of player, where he is out, for however many games because he's having, pain with his back or this and that and this and that. Doesn't mean that at some point he can't help out your team in the right situation. Doesn't mean that they don't bring him back to get another look at him. You don't know.
We're in a dilemma where it's like we have young guys that are on this roster and you want to see their development. Him coming in for extra 10, 15 minutes is going to take away those young thoroughbred minutes. So
who said? Look. The way I see it, you know what I'm saying? He's another guy. He plays defense. He can shoot the ball. We don't know if he's going to be back healthy, right? People complain about Wayne Ellington. He could take Wayne Ellington's minutes.
You know what I'm saying? He's not even on the floor.
Well, because he's hurt right now, but you don't know what Mike Miller's going to do when he comes back. You know what I'm saying? Right now, Mike Miller's going with 9 players, sometimes 10 players. Who knows what's going to happen when Wayne Ellington comes back? He may decide to put him on the floor. We don't know. We'll see what Mike Miller decides to do.
My question is to you. Do you want him to be in front of these younger guys?
I want to see what he can do on the floor. I want to see what he can do on the floor.
If today he plays, he's healthy. Who minutes are you taking away?
I don't know, because I don't know what he looks like. See, that's the whole thing, right? I'm never going to be able to sit here and just say, oh, he's going to take this guy's minutes, that guy's minutes, or that guy's minutes. You got to see what the mix looks like on the floor when you decide how you're going to use him. So you can't say he's going to take away this person's minutes because you don't know how you're going to use him yet. You got to see him on the floor. You got to see him in practice. You got to see the things that he does and then decide, well, I can fit him in here or I can fit him in there. You don't know. He might take some minutes from Marcus Morris. He might take some minutes from Julius Randle. In the way that Mike Miller decides to use him, we are automatically assuming that he's going to take minutes from Frank or from Knox or from DSJ or from RJ Barrett or whoever. We're automatically assuming that he may decide to use him in another way and maybe go with a smaller lineup to put him on the floor and take minutes from Marcus Morris and Julius Randle. You don't know. You know what I'm saying? That's why, I'm not just going to jump out and be like, I don't want him taking minutes away from this player or that player. You don't know how Mike Miller's going to choose to use this guy if and when he's ready to be used. You know what I'm saying? And it still might be weeks before he's ready to be used. Go ahead, Mark.
Well, it's not like he's a 4 or 5. The dude is a 2.
It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be a 4 or 5 to take minutes away from those guys.
But no, I'm saying he's a 2 guard.
Okay.
But what I'm saying that we have so many guards on this team that we're trying to see play this game and see how consistent they could be. My thing is, people complain about Wayne Ellington being on the floor. If he could take minutes from Dennis Smith Jr., I'm cool with that because today great news came out. The Timberwolves want him, and I'm just ready to dish him off as soon as possible. So if he takes away Dennis Smith minutes, I'm cool with that. Now that I think about it.
But all I'm saying is, I mean, he may be, he's a shooting guard, right? But he can also go, if you're in a small lineup, he can play some small forward. They could decide to go to a small lineup. They could decide to do a lineup where you got. He's 6'6". If you go to a small lineup, he can play small forward. Just like RJ Barrett can play small forward if you're in a small lineup. He's 6'6". It's not like he's 6'4". He's 6'6".
Oh, okay.
Right?
He's more of a two because he can't guard. Guard threes.
He's a really good defender. He is a really good defender. Why can he not guard threes? He's a really good defender. That's where he's made his mark in the league, as being a really good defender and a three-point shooter. I mean, you can go a small lineup where you got RJ Barrett at the three, where you give him some minutes instead of Marcus Morris there, and then you use Reggie Bullock at the two. There's ways that you can do it. There's a lot of minutes. You got guys on this team that's getting 35 minutes, 33, 35 minutes a game. You know what I'm saying? A couple guys, you take 1 or 2, 3 minutes away from them so he can fit in if that's what you choose to do. You know, I don't think it's going to take away from too much, especially if you have other guys, older guys that maybe Wayne Ellington that you're not playing at all. You know what I'm saying? I want to see what he can do. I want to see the ideas that we had going into the season about what the possibilities of this team and how we could see the idea coming into this season, and that you were putting together a group of guys that could play hard, play some hard-nosed defense, and hopefully spread the floor and shoot the ball. Right? Reggie Bullock was part of that. When he was signed, the first day he was signed, all over the place, all I heard was, that's a good signing. That's a good signing, because he was a role player that could shoot the ball and play defense. I want to see what it looks like. I want to see what it looks like. You know what I'm saying? We have our, I keep hearing from everybody about our young guys not playing. For the most part, our young guys are playing. Right? Every single young guy is not going to get the playing time that you want them to get. But for the most part, our young guys are playing. Frank Ntilikina is starting at point guard. Mitchell Robinson gets more minutes than Taj Gibson at center. Kevin Knox, his minutes fluctuate based on his defense and his motor. Damian Dotson gets minutes. The only guys not getting minutes are Alonzo Trier. Alonzo Trier is out with a concussion right now. And Dennis Smith Jr.'s minutes have been up and down. Iggy, he's not ready to play in the NBA as far as I'm concerned. I don't think he's ready to play in the NBA. For the most part, our guys, our young guys, are playing basketball and getting minutes on the floor. They're getting minutes on the floor. I don't know. I don't get it. These, for the most part, these guys are playing. You know what I'm saying? They may not always get all the minutes that you want, but they're getting minutes on the floor. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to head up out of here. I just wanted to give you a quick update. David Blatt, Reggie Bullock's first practice. Okay, I wanted you, wanted to talk about it, see what you guys thought about David Blatt coming on as a basketball operations consultant. I do have, maybe 5 minutes left where I can take a couple of phone calls. So if you want to call in, get it in quick, 516-405-2246, and I can get your opinions real quick before I head up out of here. You know what I'm saying? Get ready to go. My daughter's getting ready to take her driver's test, try to get her license. So I'm going to go and, be there with her as she does that. But, ladies and gentlemen, there's no phone calls. I'm going to jump up out of here. All right. So, today the Knicks hired former coach David Blatt, former Cleveland Cavalier coach David Blatt, as a basketball operations consultant. What's it mean? Could mean a lot, could mean nothing at all. All right. Once again, I'll read it off to you. The Knicks announced the hiring of David Blatt as basketball operations consultant. On behalf of David Blatt, he says, I look forward to the next steps in my career as I officially retire from coaching and pursue other opportunities in basketball. I've long been intrigued by working in a front office and thank Steve and Scott for the opportunity to be a resource to the basketball operations staff. On behalf of Steve Mills and Scott Perry, David Blatt is a great basketball mind, and we look forward to adding him to the organization. He will be a great asset to our front office, G League, and to international scouting. And listen, David Blatt, he retired from coaching because he's been diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. So I wish the best for him and his family, right? So any notions that you might have of he, possibly taking over coaching, it's not going to happen. He's not going to be the head coach of the New York Knicks. He's retiring from coaching because of the what it puts on your body. So he's going to use his mind, his basketball mind. All right. Caller, y'all live with Nothing But Knicks. What's popping?
Hey, Sam, this is Kevin from Plainfield, New Jersey. How you doing, man?
Okay, so Steve Mills is calling in to give us the scoop. What's going on, Steve?
Sam, you're too much, man. You're too much.
What's going on, man?
Anyway, I like the hiring that I did. No, I'm just kidding. I will say, at first I thought he was going to replace Mike Miller, like at the end of what he was doing as being a consultant. But now hearing about his health issues, I'm kind of now thinking that he's really legit at being this consultant, for a while. So I'm not really upset about the whole thing, with him being a consultant. But I will say with two things. One, with Bullock, I think he's going to be great for us because he spreads the floor. And the games that I saw, at least when he played against us, he really shot the ball really well, and it really, put us in a bind last year. So that's what I'm expecting from him this year. Not to mention that he's great defensively. And two, I know it's a small sample size, but Mike Miller, you can see the difference between him and Fizdale. I mean, with the timeouts that he, the plays he does out of timeouts, and just his overall running the game. He's really doing a good job. So I just wanted to give my points about that.
Yeah, definitely. He's doing a great job right now. I think that I think he's really, really doing a good job. And he's gonna put his name out there when the Knicks, right now he's still an interim head coach, hasn't been labeled the head coach. He's still labeled as the interim, but he's gonna make it competitive when they begin to hire for a head coach. He's definitely gonna make it competitive.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And here's
rightfully
the other
so.
thing. Okay, I'm not thinking of playoffs right now. I'm thinking of more of development and how far he can take this team. And I'm telling you, if he takes this, if we see a drastic improvement with this team, I'm sorry, he's got to stay on. I mean, no disrespect to Van Gundy or Mark Jackson or any of those other, names. This guy, he's already gotten to the players, per se. They respect him, and he's holding them all accountable. I mean, literally holding them accountable. And why would you, what's the term? If it's not broke, don't fix it. Well, you can't fix that because he's already got the respect of the players. And you just can't just, I mean, again, this is all depends on if they make if it's a drastic change in their record and the way the team is playing. Because I'm seeing stuff right now, Sam, I didn't see this, through the games that that Fizdale was here for this year, pretty much. Okay, last year was a wash and everything, but for this year, I'm not seeing what I'm seeing now, and nobody can. Or I mean, yeah, Randall's game isn't what I expected, but even still, within these games right here, there's been a change, with Mike Miller coaching, and that's something that's got to be, I know people like to still nitpick at Randall, but I noticed I'm noticing a change in him.
Yeah, I mean, I'm noticing one too. People are gonna nitpick, and they're gonna continue to nitpick because a lot of people were waiting to see if he was going to be a superstar. But it is what it is. Hey, real quick, before you get out of here, I want to get your opinion on this. It's been reported that the Timberwolves are among several teams interested in trading for Dennis Smith Jr. What do you think about that?
Okay. Before last night, I would have said, yeah, it'd probably be the best bet. I'm probably still thinking that way, depending on what we get, what they're willing to give us, per se. But what I saw last night was really, really, really encouraging. And again, it goes back to Mike Miller, the way he got to him, at least for last night. So I guess I got to see what happens tomorrow. Not tomorrow, I'm sorry. What happens Friday and what happens Saturday, because these next two games, they're two, big monsters. I don't know. I heard you say last night that you haven't seen how Miami plays. I haven't seen them either. So it'll be a really, big test for us. And then to come back home to play Milwaukee after what they did. All right. So they're going to be without, be without their point guard as well. But still, I don't put nothing, past that. So it'll be interesting to see how Dennis Smith Jr., plays against those two. But like I said, if Minnesota gives us, I have to see what they're offering. If they're going to offer, something ridiculous, I'm not interested. It's got to be worth the while. It's got to be able to benefit us as well as, for what we're, giving him. Because this is one of the players that, we're letting go in the Porzingis trade. So, after he's gone, okay, yeah, we got draft picks, but we were just giving away 3 players, and him, Jordan, and Matthews. So I don't know.
Yeah, I feel you. I know,
Yeah,
and
so,
it doesn't look like people are not sure right now. What the Timberwolves would be willing to give up for Dennis Smith Jr. It's just it's kind of out there, rumors out there that the Minnesota Timberwolves are interested in Dennis Smith Jr. I think most executives, from what I'm reading right now, most executives in the league, and of course these are sources just out there, don't believe Dennis Smith Jr. is going to get you a first round pick, maybe a second round pick or something like that. So
it'll be real interesting. It'll be really, really interesting. But I got to ask, you probably already mentioned it a bunch of times. What do you think the biggest change is between Mike Miller and Fizdale?
I think the things that he's done defensively, not having them switch. I think that's been one of the biggest changes. Really cutting down on those switching, giving each person a responsibility to guard their own man. Right, and the less switching, the more they understand who has who. When you're switching a lot, you got to figure out, okay, who's supposed to get this person now? Who's supposed to get this person? When you're not switching, you're responsible for your man. I think that's been a big difference. I think the ball movement on the offensive side has been a big difference. Not relying on a couple of passes and then one person just take over and go one-on-one. There's been a lot more emphasis on the ball movement and a lot more off-ball movement, I think. So I think that's been a difference right now.
Yeah, I totally Agree with you. Again, it's just a different spirit that I'm seeing, with these guys. Even Mitch, even Robinson. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, the 2 times that he went for the steal, one he went out of bounds, and then the other one, he went for a dunk. When have we seen that?
Yeah, I know, man. Yeah, but hey, I appreciate your call, man, because I only got a couple more minutes. I'm jumping off of here, but I appreciate you calling in.
Okay, no problem,
All right,
problem.
man.
And I'll look to make some more moves in the coming weeks, okay?
Yeah, just hit me up and let me know what you're planning on doing.
Okay, take care,
All right, man. Later.
All right.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the Minnesota Timberwolves seem to have some interest in Dennis Smith Jr. Of course, there's rumors out there about Marcus Morris and the Los Angeles Clippers having interest in, or the Los Angeles Clippers having interest in Marcus Morris. Many think that can net the Knicks a first-round pick. We'll see what else is out there. I'm pretty sure as we go on, more and more trade rumors are going to come about. It's also out there that the Knicks may be willing to hear offers or open to moving Julius Randle. Of course, the question is always, is James Dolan going to allow Scott Perry and Steve Mills to truly make some moves? I think with this hiring of David Blatt, I think that, there may be some, he is going to allow them to make some moves. I think it signifies that. One more phone call, ladies and gentlemen, then I'm going to jump off of here. Call Leon Live with Nothing But Knicks. What's popping?
Hey, good afternoon, Simeon.
Good afternoon, man. How you
Sorry
feeling?
about that. I'm at work. Hey, this is Mike from Germantown, Maryland.
Oh, what's going on, man? Right around the corner.
Hey, man, we
from
actually met at the game, at the Wizards game, man.
Yeah.
Game when I
no
sat next
doubt.
to you.
Glad to talk to you again.
Anyways, I'm glad the Knicks are doing very well. I think Mike Miller is going to do great things for this Knicks organization. He reminds me a lot of Red Buckwall back in the days when we were winning. And he's got Knox playing very well. He's got Robinson playing out of his mind out there. And, I appreciate your show. You're doing a lot of great things. And thanks for having me.
No.
What were you talking
I appreciate
about,
you
actually?
calling in. Well, right now we're talking about trade rumors. Dennis Smith Jr.
Stop! Just don't spoil me the game. I didn't watch the Hawks game yet. But what's the news? Because my phone is
I'm sorry, I can barely hear you over Andy.
There you go. Sorry about that. Dennis Smith Jr. He's in trade rumors. That the Minnesota Timberwolves are, have some interest in Dennis Smith Jr. Obviously, there's Marcus Morris out there, and then Julius Randle. It's said that the Knicks would listen to trade offers or are willing to move Julius Randle. What do you think, man?
I mean, we can, whatever we can get for Julius Randle. They've been, I think, management so far making some good moves. I think they've been very calculated. They've followed through with their B plans when the A plans failed. I trust Scott Perry. Steve Mills, I think he's working his ass off, excuse my French, for the rest of the year at least. I think that this move that they made with hiring this guy, I'm sorry, his name is losing right now. The hire that they just made, I think that's a great move. I think that's an excellent move.
Who, David Blatt?
And Black.
Yeah.
He was a great coach out there in the EuroLeague. I think he has a lot of connections out there. That's an excellent move. Like I said, I trust Scott Perry. I think that they've done a lot of good things. We've gotten some good players. I'm really happy with the way Kevin Knox has been playing. Dotson, the whole squad right now is playing bananas right now. It was really good for the Garden. It was so good for the Knicks fans out there that paid their money. And even though they played but Atlanta still played the Lakers really good out west,
Right.
I don't know what their defensive rating was, but, that's payback for the last time they came in there and blew us out like that. So, I think Mike Miller, I'm so happy with Mike Miller right now. I think he's the greatest thing. JR back, the whole thing that's going on right now, including, Nothing But Knicks and Simeon. So thanks for the show, and peace out to the chat, and shouts out to the new Knicks for Phil out there, new Knicks. Thanks for having me, Sim.
All right, man. Appreciate you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to jump off out of here because I gotta get out of here. I appreciate you guys for joining me. We'll see what happens with this whole thing with David Blatt, and Reggie Bullock coming back to practice. A lot of interesting things going on with the New York Knicks, ladies and gentlemen. I'm about to head up out of here. Have yourselves a good day. Quick update. I will see you guys tomorrow. I'm going to do the game preview tomorrow night. I was going to do it tomorrow at 2:00, but it seems now I have an appointment that's going to last through 2:00, so I'm not going to be able to do the game preview at 2:00 tomorrow. So it'll be tomorrow night about 10:30. Last for about an hour. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm heading up out of here. Have yourselves a good rest of your day. All right, and I'll catch you tomorrow night. Peace.
That's the G.